All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity. This is a sovereign, living, ancient, Article 3, Moorish American, Al-Moroccan, Empire State Proclamation and Court Action. We are sovereign living justice at America in capitis diminutio nolo, in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. We are the original, indigenous, sovereign, ancient, Al-Moroccan, Moorish American ascendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites. On March 21st, 2022, the sovereign empire state for Morocco at America, which is also ancient Morocco, the Maghrib Al Aqsa, Al-Moroc, accepted the resignation of former custodian, previously in the office of Queen of England, Elizabeth Alexandra Mary. Elizabeth was birthed specifically to serve the reigning imperial American heirs on the 21st of April, 1926, 1 year after yet another incorporation of the bankrupt United States Corporation Company, and 13 years after the creation of the Old Canaanite Temple at America in 1913. Elizabeth was groomed to lead all of our subjects in the successful implementation of their duties worldwide in direct obedience to Chapter 29 of the Holy Koran for the Moorish Holy Temple for Science, titled Magistrate and Subject. In this chapter of the koranic helioteque, scriptura, Elizabeth and all of our subjects were granted the purpose of obeying our commands to assist in raising us to our sovereign power. The results of their obedience as led by Elizabeth are found in verses 1 through 13, which state, O thou Moorish matriarchs, the favorite from heaven, whom the sons of men and subjects have obeyed your command to raise you to your sovereign power, as you stand yourselves as the rulers over all subjects. Consider the ends and importance of their trust, for their trust is subject to the dignity and height of thy station. Thou, O eternal, all-powerful Moorish matriarchs, are clothed in red and stand sovereign on the throne. The crown of thy majesty invested thy temples. The scepter of power is inherited by thy hand only. But not only for thee were these ensigns given. All is thine, O Moorish matriarchs, and all is given for the greatness and prosperity of thine eternal empire. The glory of the Empress matriarchs is the welfare of her people. Her power and dominion live in the hearts of her subjects. The mind of the great matriarch is exalted with the grandeur of her situation. She evolveth high things, and searcheth for business worthy of her power. She calleth together the wise women of her empire. She consulteth among them with freedom, and heareth the opinions of them all. She looketh among her people with discernment. She discovereth the abilities of men and employeth them according to their merits. Her magistrates are justice. Her ministers are wise, and the favorite of her bosom deceiveth her not. She smileth on the arts, and they flourish. The sciences improve beneath the culture of her hand. With the learned and ingenious she delighteth herself. She kindleth in their breasts emulation, and the glory of her empire is exalted by their labors. The spirit of the merchant who extendeth her commerce, the skill of the farmer who enriches her land, the ingenuity of the artist, the improvements of the scholar. All these she honoreth with her favor, or rewardeth with her bounty. She planteth new empires. She buildeth strong ships. She openeth rivers for convenience. She creates harbors for safety. Her people abound in riches, and the strength of her empire increaseth. She frameth her laws with equity and wisdom. Her subjects enjoy the fruits of their labor in security, and their happiness consists of the observance of the laws. She foundeth her judgments on the principle of mercy, but in the punishment of offenders, she is strict and impartial. Islam. What has just been stated regarding the ancient sovereign Moorish matriarchs and the grandeur of our empire is the result, in part, of the work done by Elizabeth and our subjects, whom she did guide in service to us. We state on the record, for the record, and letting the record show, that we appreciate the assistance of Elizabeth and all of our subjects for all that you have done, so that we stand, grow, and rise to our sovereign power. As you see us today, we have risen and we do stand in our sovereign power. And as we continue to rise for all eternity, we gratefully acknowledge that the matriarchal energy was placed temporarily at United Kingdom territory until such time as we, the sovereign, true, living matriarchs at North America, were risen and competent to seize and proclaim our energies as rulers at earth. We also gratefully acknowledge that the patriarchal energy of the previous era was placed here at America temporarily until such time as we competently demonstrated our matriarchal authority as we have today, as those who birth and govern the nation. The great Moorish patriarchs at the United Kingdom have already accepted their rightful place as kings and are governing accordingly. We hereby state that we have accepted our sovereign ascension, and we will continue to govern our vast estate peacefully, with great prosperity, with wisdom that cannot be measured, with divine health, with great joy, gladness, divine creativity, vision, integrity, ingenuity, sound wit, and divine purpose nunc pro tunc, since time immemorial and beyond perpetuity. Oldin ma'oldaran gunalid mizit imangadodran. When we intend a thing, our command is be, and it is. Lehaule wale kuata ila bila bimatria it desans. There is no strength nor power except in Allah the matriarch and her son. In closing, we send Elizabeth back to her beginnings peacefully and with gratitude. May she rest in well-deserved peace. From the sovereign, ancient, risen, living rulers at all realms, dimensions, and dominions, we are the Empire State for Morocco, the Moorish Divine and National Movement for the Earth, the de jure Moorish National Republic Federal Government, Ancient Washington District for Columbia, the Moorish American Consulate, and the Universal Article 3 Moorish American Consular Court. Amendico vobis, quae cum que sumus veritas, superterum erunt ligata et in coelo. Et quae cum que sumus sol veritas, superterum erunt soluto et in coelo. Amendico vobis, quae cum que sumus veritas, superterum erunt ligata et in coelo. Et quae cum que sumus sol veritas, superterum erunt soluto et in coelo. And once more, as it is a spell, Amendico vobis, quae cum que sumus veritas, superterum erunt ligata et in coelo. Et quae cum que sumus sol veritas, superterum erunt soluto et in coelo. Whatsoever we bind on earth is bound in heaven, and whatsoever we set free on earth is set free in heaven. Peace is now activated here at earth. Islam.